Citizens fits the flow of your life with convenient and easy-to-use tech that makes you ready to wake up, pay your friend back with Zelle in the Citizens mobile app, all before your morning snooze. Quickly buy groceries with your Citizens card and your digital wallet for your next culinary adventure. And easily deposit that birthday check with mobile deposit. So whether you're relaxing, creating, or celebrating, we have tech that fits the flow of your life. Citizens, made ready.
Hello and welcome to a beautiful day here in Washington Park. Today, Jenna and I will be giving you a lot of information in a really short amount of time, all about the history of the park, the history of Tulip Fest, the history of that gigantic guy there right behind me, Moses, and it is in fact Moses, but why we do what we do, how we do what we do, the history of the park, the history of Tulip Fest, and a whole bunch of information pertaining to this gorgeous park that I'm panning around and showing you right now, and all of the tulips in it. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to give you the little history part of this tour, and in my tours I do a lot more history, but I'll give you the general overview. So the reason we have this park, and the reason we're so lucky to have this park, is because we had some very, very progressive thinkers in the mid-1800s who realized that life in a city in the mid-1800s needed really, really open green spaces. We needed parks, we needed places to get out to, we needed land to walk around in, and to have these beautiful public gathering spaces where people could come and enjoy themselves and relax and get themselves out of that city atmosphere. So what I'm going to do is slowly pan behind me, and you can see all that traffic on Madison Avenue and all those people moving around. Well, the reason the park was actually created was so that you could walk through here and those beautiful pastoral lands behind me and forget that you're in the middle of a city. So unless there's an ambulance going by, or unless the Albany Med helicopter is landing, which happens a few times a day, you can almost forget that you're in the middle of the city when you enter this park and start walking around. These beautiful pastoral rolling hills behind me and our amazing assortment of trees, especially in this area. We have a couple of really grand trees, like the weeping beech over my right shoulder that is well over 120 years old, and the linden that's now over my right shoulder that's well over 120 years old. Really, really set the stage and the backdrop for our flowers. We're very, very lucky. So the history of the park is that in the mid-1800s, the people of the city got together and decided that they needed this space, they needed this green land to walk around on and enjoy and relax in. And because we had these progressive thinkers, because we had these people who really enjoyed the space and wanted it, we got our park. We hired gentlemen who came up from New York City who had worked with Frederick Law Olmsted to help us plan this park. Now, this is not a Frederick Law Olmsted park. There is a common misconception that it is an Olmsted park. It is built in the tradition and style of an Olmsted park, but it is not truly an Olmsted park. The two gentlemen who came up were Bogart and Kyler, and they helped plan the park. Now, it is thanks to, and the reason we have these gorgeous formal flower garden areas is because of a man named William S. Edgerton. Now, Edgerton came up, and he was the superintendent of the park who oversaw the inception of most of the grounds, and he also oversaw the inception of these formal flower garden areas, and the culmination of this formal flower garden area in 1893. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that in 1893 there were three formal garden areas in the park. This was the last. The first was an aquatic garden on the eastern end of the lake, which is closest to us in the formal garden areas that's left. And behind me, all the way up at that end of the park where Hudson Avenue meets Willett, there used to be a tropical garden area. There is one bed left in the tropical garden area, and it's currently the birdhouse. However, other than that, all of the other gardens have been removed, and I believe that took place in the 50s when they did the major remodel on all the roads in the park. I could be wrong. I'm sure I'll have a historian fact check me and put their comments below so I can better do my tours next year. With that being said, thanks to Edgerton, we not only have a beautiful park, but we also have this gorgeous, gorgeous formal flower garden area that you don't see in most Olmsted-like parks. So I'm going to sit for this little segment because the bulbs I want to show you are really darling and really lovely and really, really little. So the bulbs behind me, not these beautiful orange ones, but in fact these little tiny guys right here. We'll get you a little closer so you can see them. These are what we call species or wild tulips. And basically what these are tulips that would have come from Turkey or the Himalaya region when tulips were first introduced into European nations. And this is really the kind of flower that the Dutch fell in love with when they first discovered tulips. These little tiny, beautiful things, not the cultivated plants like the orange ones behind them, but these gorgeous little, very, very brightly colored cups of flowers. And you can see why they drew such attention, and they were so different, because at the time there was nothing like them. They were very, very different. They were very brightly colored, as you can tell. They have a beautiful interior as well as an exterior. They're wildly shaped. They have beautiful leaves, which I'll get you down even closer to see the leaves, and they just really capture the imagination. So what I was saying is they did come from Turkey and the Himalaya region, and they made it through Prague and into the Netherlands. Now, we know that the gentleman who brought them into the Netherlands, his name was Clusius, and he was living in Leiden at the time, and he brought his bulbs with him. He planted his bulbs, he loved his bulbs, and so did everyone else. So basically what happened is, I can't say that gardeners steal things, but some gardeners tend to borrow on occasion. If a bulb is maybe sticking out of the ground and they can, I don't know, pick it up without causing damage. I shouldn't say that, but it happens. So basically what happened is, well, people started going really, really crazy over these gorgeous bulbs, and he finally got so fed up with them climbing over the walls of his garden to steal his bulbs that he dug them all up and threw them all away. That's how fed up he was. But by then it was far too late. The Dutch people had fallen in love with these gorgeous little flowers, and Dutch mania had actually started to occur. It only took, I think, 50 or 60 years from that point on till we hear the Dutch mania stories where a tulip bulb cost maybe as much as a house. That's a whole other bit of history that we're not going to get into, but I will tell you all about Albany's history in just a moment. Okay, so Albany's history with the tulip begins somewhere in the past. That sounds really stupid, but you know. So what we do know for sure is that in 1948, then Mayor Erastus Corning wrote to Queen Wilhelmina in the Netherlands and basically asked her to denote one variety of tulip as the city tulip for the city of Albany. Well, she was thrilled with our sister city being Nijmegen in the Netherlands and us having such a strong Dutch heritage. She thought this was a fabulous idea. She wrote back, writing that the Orange Wonder, a beautiful little 18-inch traditional looking tulip, was going to be our tulip. And the people of Albany were thrilled. She sent 2,000 tulips to us that very first year. It was a hit. People loved them. They were given away, to beautify neighborhoods. They were planted in our park. We bought more. We started throwing our very first Tulip Fest in 1949. So Albany's love affair with the tulip really, truly began then. With that being said, now our love affair with the tulip has gotten absolutely out of hand, which is wonderful for me because being the Parks Division supervisor and the former gardener, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to walk these grounds and see all of these people, even after the festival is over, still coming to admire the tulips and to see the bloom and to see how gorgeous everything really, really, truly is. So thank you for walking around with me today. And now I'm going to turn it over to our city gardener, Jenna Comerford, so she can tell you all she knows and all she can relate to you about this year's tulips, this year's bloom, and everything else in between. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye now.
Hi everyone, so I am Jenna Comerford and I am the new city gardener. First and foremost, let's thank Jessica for all of that wonderful information, and let's go tour the flowers. Come on. This bed here was planted by the previous gardener that we just heard from. Jessica made a beautiful swirl design. She used her favorite tulip, which is Queen of Night right here, this beautiful single. And then she paired it with this amazing double. And then used this really great blend called El Nino. And it's orange and yellow and some fluorescent pink. And nice and tall. Really, really, really tall. This garden here is our honor garden for all of the gardeners that have worked with us. I chose this design in particular, kind of in honor of my first year as the city gardener. The center bed has Blushing Lady in it. Now, 2 gardeners ago, so before Jessica, was Judy Stacy. She was my first mentor. I had chosen her favorite tulip for the center. She left quite a legacy, as well as Jess, so she got the second ring. And the second ring is Dordogne. We couldn't use her favorite, which was Queen of Night, because she used it in the bed we previously mentioned. But it complements really well. And then I chose these super short whites called Calgary. And they've seen better days. They're on their way to passing, but they're super short and really nice. And I used those kind of as, since it's my first year, a shorter ring for myself. Another fun fact is, from an aerial view, I had a young child tell me that this bed looks like sushi from above. You'll find in a lot of the designs of the garden that I like to play with different heights, different shapes, and different colors. So you'll see many different levels of color in this bed. It is a purple blend. So we have some beautiful double purples at the lowest level. It's Exquisite, the name. You'll also see Silver Cloud, which is this light lavender color. We have Paul Shearer, which is a nice dark, but it's an earlier variety. And Purple Dream, which is this beautiful lily flowering tulip. And then mixed in, you'll also see this striped one, which is Flaming Flag. Now, if you look in the center of the bed, you will see those big, thick leaves and a little triangle bud. That is allium. It's in the onion family. And it'll bloom much later than these tulips, but it'll stand nice and tall with an 8-inch globe of hundreds of little petite purple flowers. In this bed, we have Dordogne, which is the taller one, and Via Candios, which is the shorter one. It starts out really light yellow, and as it matures, it turns this beautiful coral pink. It is a double fringe, And it also is fragrant. It smells like a cross between hyacinths and roses. It is stunning. In this bed here, you will see multiple colors. We have King's Orange, which is more of a muted orange. It has some pink blushing through the petals. We have a nice dark red that's called Continental. Then we have red, which is Ile-de-France. And then these blushy pink are Apricot Beauty. And I even played with them a bit and mixed them into our grape hyacinths. Speaking of grape hyacinths, here are some fun facts. We have about 40,000 grape hyacinth bulbs spread throughout the entire city. About 30,000 here in the park. Their blue color attracts our pollinators, so you'll find bees flying all around them. They have amazing little round flowers, and I recently learned from a new friend that I made in the Netherlands, we call them grape hyacinths and they call them little blue grapes. Now we also have blue hyacinths, traditional ones, so they have that flare on their petals, as well as many other colors of hyacinths. We have some parrots, some fritillaria. These little pineapple tops are called fritillaria or crown imperials. And then these small dainty flowers are a wild tulip. And this one specifically is Lady Jane. They're much smaller and daintier in size, even their leaves. Here we have a beautiful mix. We have Finola, these lighter pink ones. They're a double late. A lot of people mistaken them for peonies, but they are in fact a tulip. And then we also have a darker variety, and that is Double Sugar. Now Double Sugar has a pretty white center and dark pink outer edges. Many, many layers of petals. 3,000 bulbs in here. We have a mixture of Ile-de-France, which is here. We have Carnival de Nice, right here, the white with red striping, the double, and then these fabulous lily flowering tulips are called Lasting Love, and they deepen to this rich, beautiful color. These here are a new one to us. They're a sport of Gavata, that beautiful burgundy with the pale yellow edges. These ones happen to have a copper apricot kind of edge. They are absolutely stunning. They look like watercolor, kind of bleeding out to the edges. We have a super fun design in this bed here. There's a great big red heart in the center, followed by a heart of Hocus Pocus, that nice tall yellow with the coral flames going through it, followed by a great big yellow heart with big smile in it. And another fun fact I can tell you is that over the weekend we did a voting for the People's Choice. We narrowed down 130 varieties of flowers down to 10, and Hocus Pocus was chosen by the people. This is the winner. It'll receive its own bed next year, featuring just itself, 2,000 bulbs, and we will border it with some grape hyacinths. A favorite every year is Marilyn, this fabulous white with the pink stripes. It has all different variants of color. Some have more pink than others. Some have less striping than others. We also paired Mariette with it, this beautiful pink lily flowering tulip. And also with that, we paired double sugar, the double late that we also saw here. Merlot has landed as one of the ones in my top 10 list. They are fabulous. They're also paired here with Ballade. They have that crisp white edging, which makes them pop from a distance. Super dark red fringe called Vincent van Gogh. Let's admire some of our parrots. This is the Caribbean parrot. We also have flaming parrot and Negrita parrot. And toucano. It looks like a painting. Let's appreciate some of the other varieties we have. These little short ones are innuendo. Behind them is the orange orca, and the taller ones are orange Van Eyck. And then you have Jumbo Beauty and Holland Chic. We also have 2,000 other bulbs, including daffodils and allium and fritillaria. This semi-double Japanese one called Akibono, meaning daybreak. We also have aerial view beds. We have a windmill that 2 amazing volunteers designed. And we have a most complicated bed with over 8 different tulips in it. And then, of course, we have our tulip of tulips, the Hope Soars Foundation, and Jess's bed that was a huge swirl. While I wish I could spend hours and hours showing you the gardens, I just want you to realize how much our tiny little crew appreciates everyone coming out and seeing the gardens. There's over 101,000 bulbs here in Washington Park, all planted in the fall in less than 40 days. It was a crew of 2 to 3 steady guys. We had Washington Park Conservancy do a volunteer day, and other crew members from the Department of General Services coming out and helping us on the weekend. Thank you for enjoying the fruits of our labor. This is the true reward. Everyone coming out and enjoying our hard work in the cold, and everyone breathing some fresh air and enjoying nature, and even people watching this virtual tour. As the Dutch say it, doei. Bye guys, see you next season.
Citizens fits the flow of your life with convenient and easy-to-use tech that makes you ready to wake up, pay your friend back with Zelle in the Citizens mobile app, all before your morning snooze. Quickly buy groceries with your Citizens card and your digital wallet for your next culinary adventure. And easily deposit that birthday check with mobile deposit. So whether you're relaxing, creating, or celebrating, we have tech that fits the flow of your life. Citizens, made ready.